Hello, welcome back to my channel and thank you for watching again. Today we're going to try and look past the obvious with some of the things you may find in your shopping experiences. It's anything to do with paper or that can hold paper. Very often it catches my eye and I think, oh, this looks cool, I think I can do something with it, and it ends up in a to-do pile, but it's not always easy and it's not always quick, so it just never gets done. So let's see what we can actually manage today. So the star of the show, what we're going to start with, it must have been an address book or something, but the leather is so nice and worn and tactile. A bit of condition issue there, just glue that. It's got little pockets in there, a little flap. You can flip it open. It's tiny, the inside is probably about 11 centimeters. And then it closes. It doesn't have a closure. And I thought it would be fun to just fill it with things I like. So I've pulled out a whole lot of things, most of this from my scrap box, because the idea is to use up what we have. There's a building site behind us, so if you hear any of the ambient noise, shouting and things, it's due to that. The spine of this little booklet is definitely fragile. It's fraying on the edge. This is linen, cottony. I'm just going to stamp it with some stays on. I know it says don't stamp on fabric, but I do it and I've had no issues. And we just make a sort of bandage across that's decorative. I'm using my trusty sanding block just to sand the gloss and the polish off a bit to give the glue a better chance of sticking. I'm going to try some PVA, otherwise I'll try the shoe glue. The smell on that is pretty bad. I actually ended up using fabric glue, so that's it's stamped. I frayed the edges a bit, slightly longer still. I'll cut that in due course. It looks very white, so I may actually still distress it, depends on what we end up doing. It's just to get the spine a bit more secure. Okay, this is dry. It's distressed with some distressed spray. It can open. That bit's been glued. And now I've just cut some scrap cards. I will punch them eventually using a guide. This is what I mean by a template. I just traced along the little spine and then just punch through the holes, and then at least you know it lines up. As an alternative, you could also just put your paper between the little clamps and give them a push, and they'll make a mark where you need to punch. So I'm just punching and adding things. If as you're paging through you find that it's a bit tight, just trim a tiny sliver off the inside. These I had trimmed the other way, so the original planner pocket holes are still there. But, I mean, just thread through some ribbon and take it around, and then it's as simple as a ribbon sample card in this little folder. One thing to check as you're adding pages is that it turns nicely, and if it's closed, that you don't actually have a bit sticking out despite this measurement, because obviously you need to take the way it sits in the rings into account. I've added a gift bag that I just cut down so it forms a sort of pocket, and to that I've added blank tags. I've added some dictionary papers to use as background papers. I've added just some floral background papers. I've added some botanicals just for background. So basically this whole little book can be a traveling journal book to be dismantled as samples. So a simple decoration like this on the one side, and on the other side a little bag with stickers in that maybe matches the front. Very simple. I generally don't like using these plastic bags, but these I've received other things in, so I'm just reusing them. I've stuck it down with washi tape. It can flap, so you could write there if you wanted that instead once you've taken the bag off. So on this card I've used the punched holes just to tie some eyelash trim and some vintage ribbon, and if it dangles around the bottom, that looks quite nice. So basically just go ahead and use every page as something. This has got tags. Some pages are just what they are, like these vintage dictionary pages. They're nicely aged, slightly fragile, so they'll be good background pages. So on some of the harder inside pages with a paper clip, just add, this is a cigarette card and 2 stickers, which can then be used and taken off. This is a whole bunch of just little offcuts, and I've stapled it with the flap loose so it can hook over a page and attach with something like an embellished paper clip. And then just make sure your page can still turn. These are little fussy cut elements that I just haven't fussy cut, a little end of the back journaling card, and just staple it. If they rip it off, that's not a big deal. So everywhere there's something to use in the little booklet. It becomes quite fat after a while. You probably not strain it too much. But receiving something like this, it's tactile, it's convenient, and it's filled with just happy bits. It's happy mail after all. I've also added some pockets. This one's just filled with stickers, and it shares the same paper clip as this one. And that's about that. This one's still a bit plain, and the pocket can do with some bling. And then it's now got some dangly bits. I've got this totally outsized tassel, which I think I'm going to cut and just hook to the bottom to make it look a bit crazy. In retrospect, when I glued on the spine, I should have hidden the elastic underneath, but I can just do it over. I don't think it's such a big deal. Or even just a bull clip would do the trick. This one's a little bit small, and then decorate that too. And that's just about that. Last is to just add a little label bracket to the front. The tassel is on, the little label's on, screws stick out a bit. I punched the holes with my Japanese hole punch, and then I was going to glue gun that and that over with the belly band in between, and you can add another thing. These little folders, old wallets, all of those sort of things are quite common at charity shops and second-hand stores, and normally cheap if they're not in a good condition. So this one was in a fair condition, and now it's something new and something else. If you've watched this far, please like, please subscribe, and leave a comment as to whether I must show an upcycle on a record sleeve or a negative sleeve next, and I'll choose a winner for the little booklet from the comments by the middle of next week, 15th, 18th of October, something like that. So thank you for watching, and go make stuff.